we're going to go ahead and get started. I know people are still logging in, but don't want to keep everybody waiting. So my name is Jennifer Finetti, and I'm with Scholarship Owl. I've got Dom here with me. He is our new online community manager, and I'll have him talk more about that in just a little bit. Today, we're going to be talking about preparing for the next step in your college journey. I would say the content in today's webinar is probably going to be mostly, most geared towards either high school seniors that are going to be making the transition or to college sophomores who might be transferring. There's something in here for everybody, but just so you know, that is going to be the focus of the content because that is a lot of who we have with us at Scholarship Owl. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my camera. Dom's going to turn off his, and we're going to start with a presentation. And then after that, we're going to do a live Q&A where you can get all of your questions answered, whether it is about this topic or about any topic, whether, college, financial aid, scholarships, we can cover it all during our live Q&A. All right, so give me just a moment to start the slide deck here. All right. So as I'm sure you know, we've all gone through a lot in the last year or so. Our world has changed in so many ways. And as we get to a point where vaccines are widely distributed, we can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. But even so, I think all of us know that we won't exactly be going back to the way things were. We will instead have a new normal. So what is that going to look like? And what should you do now as campuses and businesses are starting to open up? Today, we're going to look at the road that lies ahead on your college journey. At this time of year, if you're a high school senior or a college student who will be transferring next year, you have much to be excited about. And if you're a younger high school student, you may be wondering how the pandemic will impact future college admissions. Today, we're going to discuss what's ahead for all of you and what steps you'll need to take to ensure you're ready for what's next. So let's take a look at what we're going to cover today. Taking inventory, creating your to-do list, following up on your application, weighing admission offers, admission and housing decisions, required supporting materials, finishing strong, preparing for your next chapter, and then we're going to do a summary and have our, like I said, a live Q&A. And we're also, for people who watch the entire webinar, we're going to be offering a special thank you, and we're going to talk more about that at the end of the webinar. So if you're preparing to start college or to transfer to a university soon, normally there's so much going on and so much to get excited about that it's hard to keep up. But with the pandemic, for many of us, the days have passed slowly like molasses. And even though schools and businesses are starting to open and more people are getting vaccinated, things won't be back to pre-pandemic normal for a while. So it's important that each of us take a deep breath and literally take inventory. Think about where you are academically and personally, because now that things are opening up, it's time to take care of all the details that maybe you've put off, and it's also time to prepare yourself mentally and emotionally for all of the exciting days ahead. There's the basic stuff, like being able to hang out with friends, go to the movies, maybe travel a bit, but there's also everything specifically related to college. What are the things that you would have done if you could have during the pandemic? And what are the things that might have fallen off your plate, but now that you really need to take care of them? And for those of you who've mastered the art of rolling out of bed and into your chair for online learning, what will it look like to have to organize your life around a more rigid schedule of school and work? And for those of you who will be moving away for college, how will you feel as you transition from living in close quarters with your family to living on your own with roommates? It's so important to give yourself the time and space to take inventory and to talk to your family and friends about what lies ahead. Everyone will be going through these kinds of changes, whether you're a student or the parent of a student who will soon be leaving home. So talk to each other and figure out how best to provide care and support, and be prepared for the possibility that what you expect to feel might be different than what you actually feel. Given that it's now mid-April, Decision Day is looming. For most colleges, Decision Day is May 1st. That's the date by which you'll need to make your final admission decision. For those of you who have applied for college admission this fall, you've likely already received responses from all the colleges you've applied to. If for whatever reason you haven't yet received responses from all the colleges you've applied to, it's important that you contact each of the remaining schools to ask for an update. They all know that May 1st is Decision Day, so if you haven't heard from some of the schools, it may be that they're waiting for supplemental materials from you, or it could be that they have incorrect contact information for you and have no idea that you haven't received communication from them. So you'll want to call each school that you're still waiting on as soon as possible and find out what's going on. Once you've received the admission offers from the schools you've applied to, you'll need to make your admission decision. For many students this year, making that decision is more challenging due to the pandemic. So many students applied to campuses they haven't yet visited, and now they have to decide which school is best for them without ever having stepped foot on the campus. Even if you haven't been able to visit all of the schools you've applied to, you'll still probably be able to select which schools you're most interested in based on what you can see online, what you've heard anecdotally, and based on what your out-of-pocket cost will be after financial aid and scholarships. So do what you can to narrow your choices down to perhaps the 2 schools that interest you most. Now that restrictions on travel have been loosened a bit, see if there's a way that you and your family can visit those 2 schools, especially if they're within driving distance from your home. Even if you're unable to schedule an official college tour, just going to the campus and walking around can be really helpful. Whether or not you're able to visit, you can definitely spend time checking out the schools online. Look at photos and videos of the campus and check out landmarks that you might enjoy on weekends. Look at the surrounding area, the downtown. Be sure to not only look at what is on the university website and social media, but also look at online reviews from students, videos that students have shot and posted on YouTube, etc. You'll want to do everything you can to get a feel for what it would be like to not only be going to school there, but also to have that school and surrounding area be your home. It's also, of course, really important to compare and contrast the financial aid and scholarship offers you've received from the schools you're interested in so that you'll know how they impact your bottom line out-of-pocket cost. For example, let's say you're trying to decide between one of your state's top public universities and a private university, and you really like both of them. The public university offered you a $2,500 one-time scholarship, whereas the private university offered you $20,000 a year. You might be really excited about the private university because $20,000 a year is an amazing offer. But you still need to look at your final out-of-pocket cost for each. Let's say the public university costs $35,000 a year. So after deducting your one-time scholarship of $2,500, the first year would cost you $33,500, and each year after that would be $35,000. And let's say the private university costs $60,000 a year. So after deducting $20,000 each year for your annual scholarship, your out-of-pocket cost is $40,000 per year. Just comparing the 2 on cost, the public university would be a less expensive option, even though your scholarship that they provided wasn't very big and it was only for the first year. If you are offered one or more scholarships from the university, be sure to read the terms and conditions in detail. In some cases, the scholarship might be a one-time lump sum for your first year only, as in my example about the public university. But in other cases, the scholarship might be a lump sum given each year for all 4 years, like in my example for the private school. If the scholarship is for all 4 years, you'll likely be required to meet certain parameters to retain the scholarship. This might mean that you need to maintain full-time enrollment and that you need to maintain a certain GPA. Make sure the GPA requirements are reasonable and something that you really think you could achieve. Even if you have a high GPA in high school, college classes are more challenging and you may find it to be more difficult to earn the same kinds of grades in college. Finally, if you are considering a private school, if you would love to go there but feel that the out-of-pocket cost is too high for you, consider asking for additional scholarship funds. Many families are unaware that this is a thing, but it really is. It's very rare to get additional money from an in-state public university, but it's fairly common to get additional funds from a private school. The best way to find out if this is possible is to call the university's financial aid office. Explain that you would love to attend the school, but that the out-of-pocket cost is higher than you had anticipated. Ask if there's anything they can do to get that number lower. In many cases, they will offer you additional funds. It might be a couple thousand, it might be more, but if you don't ask, you'll never know. This is particularly true as you get closer to decision day when they're trying to fill their admission slots. So if they really want to have you, they may be willing to give you a little bit more money than they had originally offered. Also, remember that financial aid and scholarship offers for this year are being based on your family's income and assets from 2019 and not 2020 or 2021. And so many families' income changed due to the pandemic. So if your family's income and assets are much lower than they were in 2019, it is so important that you contact your college's financial aid office and ask about their financial aid appeal process. Typically, you'll have to complete some forms, submit a personal statement, and may also be asked to submit financial information to demonstrate a reduction in income or assets. Even though the process will be tedious, if you follow through, you might get a much better financial aid and scholarship offer, so it will be well worth it. What if you really want to attend a school that either waitlisted or declined you? If you're waitlisted for any schools that interest you, make sure you follow the instructions for remaining on the waitlist. In most cases, the colleges will not automatically put you on the waitlist. Usually you have to formally accept being added to the waitlist. If you're declined admission from one or more schools that you really feel you'd like to attend, consider appealing the decision and contact the admissions offices to find out how. Note that appeals are rarely granted, but if you feel you can make a strong case for why they should admit you, it may be worth pursuing. And again, this is especially helpful as we get close to decision day, May 1st, because if colleges are finding that they're not getting the level of acceptances that they wanted, they may very well be interested in hearing from students who were declined. If you do decide to either join a waitlist or appeal an admission offer, it is important to remember that you still need to accept an admission offer from another school by May 1st. Otherwise, you'll miss out on ensuring a spot for yourself at any school in the fall. Colleges will typically not accept any waitlisted student until after May 1st, and the same goes for students who appealed a declined decision. You will probably not hear back about any change to your status until sometime during the summer, even possibly not until August. And of course, by that time, you might just want to stick with the school you decided on earlier anyway. Now that you've appropriately weighed your admission offer, it's time to make your decision. Once you know which offer you will accept, go ahead and follow that college's instructions for accepting their admission offer and pay any initial enrollment deposit that is required. Make sure you followed all steps and check your portal or email to ensure that you receive an email or message confirming that your acceptance was received. If you don't receive electronic confirmation, call the admissions office and verify that your acceptance was received, and ask for an email that confirms your acceptance was received as well. Once you know for sure the college has received your acceptance, go ahead and decline all other admission offers you've received. This is so important as there are so many students who would like to have a chance at any open slots. This is particularly true this year because so many students applied to colleges that maybe they wouldn't have applied to in the past because a lot of the universities said that SAT and ACT scores were not required this year. So there's a huge number of admissions at a lot of these more selective universities. And there are so many students that were declined or on the wait list and would love to have your slot if you've decided to go someplace else. Next, you want to secure housing for the school you'll be attending. This is important as many colleges have limited on-campus housing, especially now with the pandemic. And the longer you wait, the harder it will be to get the housing you want. I highly recommend applying for housing and paying the housing deposit right away rather than waiting. Now that you know which college you'll be attending, you want to be sure to keep an eye on your portal for that school. The college will likely post messages and reminders for materials that they need. Be sure to send them whatever they request and do so before any deadline indicated. This may include final transcripts from all high schools and colleges attended, scores for all AP and IP exams that you've taken, including any you'll be taking this year. If you've taken other exams that could potentially earn you college credit, send them as well. This would include CLEP, Dantes, and DSST exams. And be aware, colleges will often require you to complete verification documents related to financial aid, and the request for these documents will usually be in your portal account. If you're requested to submit verification documents, do so immediately. The verification process can take time, and there's nothing more stressful than discovering that you still don't know for sure exactly what your financial aid and scholarship offer will be until many weeks after you've already accepted an admission offer. Also, if the college's financial aid offer seems much worse than you had anticipated, don't assume that they're right and you're wrong. If something doesn't seem right, contact the financial aid office and make an appointment to talk to a financial aid advisor. I myself have helped a student who received a financial aid offer that seemed woefully inadequate based on their circumstances. And as it turned out, I was correct and the financial aid officer was wrong, and we got it straightened out. So be sure to advocate for yourself. With everything going on, it can sometimes be hard to remember that you still have things to do at your current school. It's critical that you continue to focus while in class, that you complete and submit your homework on time, and that you study for quizzes and tests, etc. Colleges sometimes can and do rescind admission offers if a student's grades sink in their final semester. So do whatever you can to stay focused and finish strong with a GPA you can be proud of. If you'll be taking AP, IB, CLEP, or other exams this year, be sure to study hard for them so that you can perform well and earn the score you'll need to earn college credit. This is especially true this year since many of you have had to take your AP classes over Zoom. So whatever test prep is happening in class might not suffice. There are some really good test prep books available for whatever exam you have to take. So you might want to check them out at your local bookstore or order them online. You could also check to see if your local library has test prep books. If you're concerned about the cost of the books, maybe you have a friend from your class who would go in on the cost with you, and then you can take turns using the book. These kinds of exams are especially important because you will have an opportunity to earn college credit, enabling you to graduate college sooner, which translates into cost savings. Some students who have earned a significant amount of credits this way are actually able to graduate college in 3 years instead of 4, literally reducing their college costs by 25%. So take these exams seriously and work hard to earn the credit you deserve. And as I mentioned earlier, make sure to request that your scores are sent to the college you'll be attending. And of course, gear up for graduation and celebrate as the school year comes to a close. But make sure to celebrate safely so that schools and businesses can stay open and so that you'll have a true college experience this fall. Once you've gotten this far, you're going to be so relieved, but it's important to remember that there's still so much to do. As I mentioned earlier, it's super important that you pay any required enrollment or housing deposits as soon as you can. If you haven't paid your deposits yet, make sure you do prior to any deadline. If you're concerned about this, contact the college admission office and financial aid office to get their input and advice. Many colleges require that newly admitted freshmen or transfer students attend a summer orientation. If that is the case for you, be sure to sign up and pay the applicable fee. If you are unable to attend orientation for any reason, contact the admissions office to find out what your options are. Perhaps they'll have an online orientation, especially given the situation we have with the pandemic. Determine if you need a laptop or other items specific to your major. If there are things that need to be purchased, figure out how best to afford them. If you have family or friends who are likely to give you a graduation gift, you might let them know what you're saving up for, and perhaps they can contribute a dollar amount towards what you need. Start applying for a summer job and save as much money as you can. Apply for as many scholarships as you can and make that a year-round effort. Any scholarships you earn will reduce your reliance on loans and will also reduce your stress. If you will need a student loan, contact your school's financial aid office to find out how to apply. Even if you see that you've been offered a loan in your financial aid offer, you will still need to complete documentation related to the loan and will need to participate in online loan counseling. Also, it's really important that you be aware that if you do receive any kind of financial aid grants or scholarships or student loans, many times the funds don't arrive right away. So you need to have some kind of cushion for yourself so that you can cover some of your basic needs while you're waiting for your financial aid and scholarships to arrive. Also, consider taking a summer class at your local community college or register for an online college class. This will give you a leg up on college and will help you to prepare for the academic rigor that lies ahead. Register for any placement tests that you may be required to take. Colleges often require that students take an English exam and a math exam unless you're otherwise exempt. Enroll in your fall classes, choosing classes that are required either for your general education or for your major. Avoid taking classes that would duplicate either AP, IB, CLEP exam credits or dual enrollment credits, and avoid taking extra classes that are not required unless you would like to do so for personal enrichment. For example, if you are not a music major, but if music is an important part of your life, you might want to add a choir class to your schedule. If you'll be moving away for college, make a list of the things you'll need for your move. Remember that dorms are very small, so only bring what you really need. If the housing office lets you know who your roommate or roommates will be, reach out to them and get to know them and coordinate regarding what you're bringing to avoid unnecessary duplicate items that can be shared. If you're planning on moving into an apartment, it's really important that you start securing housing now in the summer rather than waiting until August, because oftentimes apartments do fill up with upperclassmen. Clean out your room at home, getting rid of things you no longer need, and store items that you won't be taking with you to school. If you're going to be taking AP exams this year, you'll get your scores in July. Be sure to request that your scores are sent to the college you'll be attending. Schedule an appointment with your college advisor for early in the semester next year so that you can develop a plan for graduating within 4 years, or if you have a substantial college credits from AP or dual enrollment, you may be able to develop a plan to graduate 1 or 2 semesters early. If you feel it's important to graduate within 4 years or sooner than that, be sure to explain this to your advisor and be sure that your advisor is reviewing all of your credits. Far too often, advisors skimp on prepping for appointments with students, and they may not be looking at your exam credits or dual enrollment credits. Be a good advocate for yourself, and don't assume that your advisor fully understands your academic background. Instead, assume your advisor does not fully understand, and take the time to explain everything in detail. When it comes to college, time is literally money. The longer it takes you to graduate, the more your degree will cost you. So, in summary, you want to take inventory. Take the time to reflect on where you are and where you're headed as you prepare for the next step on your journey. Carefully weigh your admission offers. Which college is the right one for you, academically, personally, and financially? Do your research and try to visit your top choices if you possibly can, and make sure your choice is affordable for you and your family. Once you make your admission decision, accept the offer, pay any required deposits, and get all required supplementary materials in on time. Decline the admission offers you won't be accepting to open up slots for other interested students. Finish strong at your current school and prepare for your next chapter, doing everything you can to earn money for college. Get a summer job and apply for scholarships so that you can reduce your out-of-pocket cost and reduce your stress. All right, so time for questions. Please input your questions into the chat so I can respond to them, or if you want to get in the queue to speak on camera, you can do that as well. After the webinar, we are going to be offering you a special thank you. And you'll see this in an email that you receive. It's going to be our post-application checklist. This is a planning tool that will enable you to help organize all the things you need to do between now and actually starting college. All right, so I'm going to stop the slide presentation and get back on camera here. All right. I'm going to go ahead and let Dom sort of lead the Q&A here. And before we do, though, do you want to talk a little bit about our community? And oh, I see Seth is
I will. Let's go to Seth first.
Okay, cool.
All right, can you hear me? Let me try to turn.
Yes, hi Seth. How can I help you?
One quick question.
Okay.
Go to my email. It says, so I have a virtual summer program opportunity. It's an intern. It's an apprenticeship, and it's a $1,000 stipend.
Nice.
And I'm the gamer in the Discord. I will tell you about my future of Alabama A&M, and I'll be enrolling there in the fall. Be starting my undergraduate freshman semester in the fall.
Okay.
Something wrong with my camera on this PC.
We can't see you, but we can hear you. So go ahead. What is your question? Is this a question about the summer enrichment program?
No. What do you think, like, the benefits I could get from an apprenticeship going into my undergraduate freshman year, as far as the experience that I can attain from it going into my major?
Okay. What's your major and what's the apprenticeship about?
My major is forestry and fire science, and the apprenticeship is about agriculture and majoring in considering a career in forestry and fire.
That sounds perfect. Yeah. I'm not sure why you would even question it. And it pays $1,000 stipend. Go for it. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's going to look really good on any applications, both for schools and for scholarships. So definitely take part in that scholarships.
Yeah, and it'll look great on future employment applications too. So yeah, that's awesome. True.
And then I have two scholarships in my back pocket that pay for tuition and fees.
That's so awesome. Well, it sounds like you've got it all together. Do you have any other concerns, or do you feel ready to go?
I feel ready to go.
That's awesome. Great. Well, all I can suggest beyond that is, and I'm going to talk about it in a little bit, but if you haven't had a chance to yet, definitely join our community, because we'd love to see, have your story be shared in there with a lot of the other students, because it's really inspiring. And I'm sure there are other students out there that are looking for similar opportunities like that, and they'd love to hear about it. So if you haven't had a chance to join Discord yet, definitely do that, and we'll see you on there.
Yeah, I've been communicating in Discord. I've been in there.
I think I remember communicating with you. You're the one you've got the 2 scholarships, and you were asking about them, right? Like how to cover your housing and stuff. Yeah.
That's me.
Well, cool. I think this apprenticeship is definitely going to help you. It'll give you some extra money to help cover your housing costs. That's awesome.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all for all that you do.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay. All right. And then we already have Simon in here ready to go as well. What is your question?
Yeah, my name is Simon. Keep here from South Sudan. So I'm very glad to attend this webinar. And my question is just a short brief. I just want to understand more about student loan, because here in South Sudan is not easy for student to get access to school, and it is not in harmony here in South Sudan. So I just want to understand how can I get a scholarship opportunity?
Sure.
So that's what I want to understand.
So this is a great question, and I'm an answer to you, but also to other international students that are watching right now. The best place to get scholarships for international students is going to be from the universities that you are applying to. They are the ones that are going to offer probably the largest scholarships. But in addition to that, you can also apply for scholarships on the Scholarship Owl platform. We do have scholarships that you can apply for as an international student. And in fact, if you are a member, or whoever's watching, if you're a member, any scholarship in your match list that you see once you've joined Scholarship Owl, those are all scholarships you're eligible for. So you guys won't have as many scholarships that you're eligible for as students who are not international students, but whatever's in there that is listed for you is one you can qualify for. So definitely apply to the scholarships in your Scholarship Owl match list. Apply for scholarships from the universities you are applying to. Also, if you are a member of our Discord community that Dom mentioned, that's free. He'll tell you more about it. But there's a link that's pinned to the top of the chat window, and you can copy and paste that and then join our Discord. We have a special channel just for international students that has information and resources and financial assistance information. So you definitely want to join our Discord and access that information. All right.
Yeah, it's very clear that I've understood concerning what you have said. I'm very glad of the answer that you gave me, and also clarifying more about the links. And concerning my email, you helped me send it through my email. So I'm a high school graduate student from South Sudan, Juba. So I just want to understand here, as you have been going through going through what you have told us before. So I wanted to understand about the admission and housing decision. So could you please elaborate me, because I was noting them down as you were saying. I'm using pen. I'm noting everything down. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So first of all, I do want to reassure you, everyone that's watching today, you're going to get an email with a link so you can replay this webinar, so that you can stop and start and take your notes and all that stuff. So you'll have an opportunity to sort of get the information again. But just in general, when you apply to colleges, you're going to apply and then wait to hear back. And then you're going to wait and see who has accepted you. And then you're going to be weighing your admission offers to decide which one is the best one for you. You're also going to want to look at the scholarship and financial aid offers you receive. As an international student, the offer you receive is going to be different than someone who's not international, because you're not able to qualify, unfortunately, for our federal student aid. So you will not be offered a federal grant or a federal student loan, but you still may be offered scholarships from the university. And then, of course, any other scholarships you apply for outside of the school, you can qualify for those and apply that fund, the monies you receive, towards your education. And again, if you look at the links that's in our Discord and the International Students channel, you will see links that has further information specifically for international students, and also talks about loans if you need a loan as well.
And I'll just add to that. I'll add one more thing to that, which is one question we get all the time from international students is, either something like, where can I find scholarships that qualify for international students, or which ones on Scholarship Owl qualify for me? And the answer to that is, if you start your free trial, right, and you're in your account, any scholarships that show up on your match list, you can apply for, as long as you fill out your profile to the fullest. So, if you haven't tried Scholarship Owl out yet, that's a great place to start to find a lot of scholarships that are available to you. And you need all the help you can get, because, as Jen was kind of suggesting, it's a little more difficult to find funds for international students. And so having a tool like Scholarship Owl really makes it a lot easier.
Concerning what you said, I've tried my level best to apply for a Chinese government scholarship, which was on February. I tried my level best, but I never made it. I tried this scholarship concerning about computer science engineering. So I tried that one, and I never made it, but I'm quite sure having that the momentum of applying for Indian scholarship, which will end on 30th of this month. So I'm in process now to apply, as I've also tried to create my account, and I'm in process now to do so. So I came across your platform, and I subscribed as one of as I was looking for a scholarship opportunity, since this is a scholarship or WL something like that. So very glad that you have given me the right yeah. So I'm very happy to meet you guys. Yeah.
Thank you
very
so much.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon. I'm going to let somebody else ask a question now.
Thank you. So did you already let somebody in or not yet?
Not yet.
Okay, so before we do that, because we have tons of people waiting and we have tons of questions, now is a good time to talk about the Discord because I think it's going to come in handy tonight a lot.
Okay, cool.
So a few of you have been asking in the chat what Discord is. It is basically a communication platform that a lot of companies use and that we recently started using about just over a month ago. And it is constantly growing and we're building it out and giving more and more features and we're adding more activities each week. But the general idea is it's a place for you to go anytime to ask questions and, get support and be with other students like you that are dealing with, the same challenges of going through your collegiate and scholarship application journey. And so we've got tons of channels from places to get motivated to, places where we actually post the links to all the webinar recordings to channels built around for contests that we run where we give out awesome prizes to you guys. And we're actually running one right now. So, it's a great time to join. We've also got channels for saving money, for essay tips. I mean, anything you could think of around scholarship applications and preparing for college. The Scholarship Owl community on Discord is exactly what you need. And the best part is it's free. You don't have to even be a member of our subscription to use it. We, of course, encourage you to do so because you get the most out of both if you are signed up for both. But even if you're not signed up for Scholarship Owl right now, you can still join the Discord channel and get tons out of it. And you can even join a lot of our contests without subscribing as well. So the link, it looks like someone shared it just now. I sent it to her earlier, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually broadcast the comment to the whole room so everyone can see it. And so either click the link in the chat or copy and paste it from that now highlighted message and put it in your browser. And it should be a one-button click to join. If you're new to Discord, you may have to create an account, but it takes no more than a minute. And it's very much worth it. So hope to see you all in there. And know that any questions that we don't get answered tonight, we can definitely answer afterwards on Discord. So just bring your questions there if it doesn't get answered.
Cool.
All right. So might as well start adding in some people because we might have basically only people in the room tonight. So I'm going to just start letting individuals in. And whoever joins in first can go ahead and ask their question.
All right.
And I'm going to give them a second because I let in a bunch of people. So
yeah, no problem.
We'll see if anybody joins immediately. If not, we'll go to a question in the chat.
Yeah. I'm just going to pick a quick question here.
Sure.
Asked if one should attempt to being a full-time student and having a part-time job. I'll answer that really quickly, and then Allie will get to your question in just a moment. But stay in the room. Don't go anywhere. Yes, I think it is worthwhile to balance being a full-time student and having a part-time job, but I would limit the number of hours to maybe a maximum of 15 hours a week. A lot of students can very easily manage a schedule of working somewhere between 8 to 10 hours a week. If you're a good student, you can probably handle 15 hours. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and ask a question here. Allie. Or I hope I'm saying your name right. Go ahead and ask your question, and feel free, everyone, put your cameras on. We'd love to see you. Okay. All right. I don't hear from Allie yet, so.
How about now?
There we go.
Your voice. There you go. Go ahead and ask.
And is it Allie or is it Ali? I want to make sure you say it right.
Ali, yeah.
Ali, okay, got it.
Yeah, like the boxer.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Can I help you?
Yeah, so I'm from Boston, and I've been able to narrow down my schools to two, essentially, UMass Lowell and Drexel. And I'm really struggling because I really like Drexel, but the cost is pretty steep. It's $33,000 per year, and that's including the aid they're giving me. And with UMass Lowell, fortunately, I've essentially been given what's ostensibly a full ride, pretty much. And
Wow.
yeah, and it's a pretty decent school, but I mean, Drexel would be the number one choice, but the only thing stopping me is the cost, and I'm not really sure what to do about it, especially since decision time is by the end of the month.
All right, so let me ask you a question, and I'm just going to ask you straight out.
Can
you afford to spend that much money on college without taking out loans, or would you be forced to take out loans?
Oh, no, I'd definitely be forced to take out loans.
Is that something you want to take on?
Nobody wants to take on loans.
So if you'd have to take on, what would your loan amount be? Would it be like $33,000 or something a year?
Yeah, just about.
Okay.
Maybe a bit less.
So that would mean you'd have to take on your federal student loans, which tap out at only $5,500 a year for your first year, $6,500 your second year, $7,500 your third year, and $7,500 your fourth year. So everything beyond what I just quoted would be in a private student loan. Now, to get private student loans, your parents typically have to co-sign. First of all, are your parents willing to co-sign?
No, they're very anti-Drexel.
Okay.
They're like, what are you doing, you idiot? Just make this.
Okay. I'm not going to call you names.
I know,
okay?
I'm just kidding.
But I will tell you this, that if your parents are not willing to co-sign, you're probably not going to get loans for Drexel anyway, beyond the federal student loans. So if I were you, I would take heed on that, because there's no point in stressing about trying to get loans that you're not going to be able to get, first of all. And second of all, get excited about having what is essentially going to be a full ride. I mean, I can't even imagine how I would choose between having a full ride and having to owe over $100,000 when I got out. So,
yeah.
I think you know what the right decision is. It may not be in your heart what you want to do, but I can tell you that I've worked with so many students who end up not going to their first choice, but maybe their second choice or even their fifth choice school. I can't tell you how many of them look back on it and say, I know I was really excited about this other school, but this school is now home for me and I'm glad I'm here. So I think you should just go for your second choice school and know you're making a very sound financial decision as well as a great educational one.
And I'll just add that, I think a lot of it, as someone who, I graduated from college about 6 years ago, and I ended up transferring to a school that actually I used to jokingly say I would never go to. But I ended up going there because I had to change majors, and that was a place where the major existed. And what I basically found was I had to make it a school I liked, right? It comes down to the mindset. It comes down to what you're going to do while you're there. And so just because Drexel may have some great things right now that you've learned about through researching, or maybe you visited the campus and you liked how it looked, things like that, that's all your first impression, and there's a lot of opportunity to turn a school that, for whatever the reason, may not have come across as glamorous into something that is really memorable. And I think it's just a matter of deciding to start thinking about it that way. So, I think that could help you out as well with feeling more comfortable with the decision.
Definitely.
Yes,
all right, Ali, I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to take another question here. Take care.
Thank you.
All right. Paola, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yeah.
There you go. Now we hear you. How can I help you?
I would like to know, is there a possibility of getting scholarships in community college in the first semester?
Sorry, it was really quiet. Can you say it one more time?
Sure. Is it possible to get a scholarship on the first semester in a community college?
Oh, at a community college.
Yeah.
Yes, it is possible to get scholarships. So what a lot of people don't know, actually, it's a great question, because a lot of community colleges do offer scholarships, and many students don't know that. They assume because a community college is more affordable than a university that maybe they won't even need to ask for scholarships, or that maybe they don't even offer them. But actually, community colleges offer a lot of scholarships and financial aid to students. So I highly recommend that if you're going to go to a community college, that you pursue that. They have a financial aid and scholarship office that you could call or visit. If you're able to go on campus, you can go in person and talk to somebody. Have you already submitted the FAFSA?
I am not a American student.
Okay, you're an international student. Okay, so yes, you can. You unfortunately you can't get the federal aid, as I told the other student earlier. But international students can and do get financial aid from community colleges. So I would say contact the college you're interested in and ask them what's available for international students. Many colleges also have an international student office, and so you can ask about that as well, and they'll have people who can help you. All right.
I have a really quick question. I see that in California, community colleges like the tuition is free. Is this true?
It is free if you are a California resident. If you're an international student, it might not be free for you. So that's something you need to find out about. I live in California, but I'm not quite sure how international students are impacted by that.
For example, if I live in California for 1 year, is it possible to get like an in-state tuition?
I'm not sure, because in California, again, typically that's going to be reserved for somebody who's a U.S. citizen or permanent resident. So if you're an international student living in California, it's possible there would be something for you, but I'm not sure. I know for students that are undocumented, they have a DACA program. So, it just kind of depends on what your situation is. So I would say contact the school and talk to them directly.
Thank you so much, Jennifer.
All right, thank you.
Have a very nice.
Okay, Diana, how can we help you? Take yourself off mute. Can you?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Well, I am a Cuban meteorologist, and I was accepted into the master, to the MPS program at the University of Miami, which is private. But I am expecting from the results from some scholarships they give, but I think the chances are minimal because they are only 4 hours. So I need to get the scholarship for begin the program in fall this year. So I don't know. I'm new in this file and all related.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you the same advice that we gave other international students who have been asking these questions, and anybody else who's in the waiting room, I'm probably going to give the same advice if you're here asking similar questions, that for international students, your best chance of getting scholarships is going to be from the university you're applying to. And if they haven't offered you a scholarship, or if the scholarship is not high enough, you can try to ask them for additional scholarship money and see if they have something for you. Other than that, definitely join our Discord and look at the resources in our international students channel, and sign up for Scholarship Owl and apply for scholarships through us, because the information is kind of the same for all of you. If you're an international student, these are the kinds of things you need to do. All right. And okay, so
Hi, I'm here.
you still there? Okay, cool.
So what I was telling you is that I don't know how to get or find a full pay scholarship for this MPS program, because the fee, the tuition fee is about 14,000, and the living expenses is about 30,000. So it's expensive, I think.
Yeah, I'm
So
not
I
sure.
don't know.
You'd have to contact the school if it's something you can afford, because unfortunately, a lot of international students are accepted to universities, but the university only might offer a portion of what you might need in a scholarship, if they offer anything. Especially with the pandemic, a lot of schools are really relying on students to be able to pay their own way. If you're an international student, it costs more for an international student to attend, and so they're trying to accept international students that would be able to pay more money to go to college. It's unfortunate, but that's kind of the situation. So I would say contact the school and see what they can do for you. And other than that, see what the resources are in the international students channel in our Discord. So like I said, click that link that you see in the chat there for our Discord and check out the resources, the International Students channel.
Oh, what is the link?
It's right there right now. So if you go over to the chat, on the bottom of the chat, there's a little black box, and I sent a message from earlier to the whole webinar. And so in that little box is a link, and then also at the very top, the same link is there as well. And so that will take you to the Discord community.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So let's see here. Katarine, is that how you pronounce your name? Okay. How can I help you?
Hi. I'm going to
I can't hear you very well. It seems like there's a lot of noise.
Okay.
Katarine?
Yes, I'm right here. It's just I just gonna put some headsets so there won't be no back noise.
Yeah, we hear a lot of noise.
I still hear a lot of noise. Yeah.
Can you try asking your question?
Alternatively, Katarine, you can also post, if you need to, you can add the question in the chat or even on Discord, and we can always answer that way. Because it sounds like there might be also some lag between us.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Try again.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's better. Yeah.
My question was that I'm going to a private university, and I was told in March that I am completely tapped out of my federal loans.
Can you speak up? It's really hard to hear you. You sound really distant.
Can you hear me now?
It's really
it's very quiet. Can you maybe talk closer to the microphone?
I actually have the headsets on. Hold on, give me a minute.
Okay. While we wait, let's see. Maybe we should ask Whistle question. Can you ask your question while we wait for Katarine? All right. While we're waiting for either of you, I'm going to go ahead and answer a question in the chat. How about that? Let's see here. How to choose a college or university if you're undecided. This is something I sort of talked about earlier in the presentation. You really need to weigh the different aspects of each university's offer. So for example, you can think about the location of the university, how much it's going to cost you. If it's a distance away from your home and you'll have to travel by plane to get to and from, you have to weigh those costs. You need to think about what they're offering you academically. Does it have your major? Are there internship and volunteer opportunities? Does it feel like home? Does it seem like the kind of place you want to be? Is it on the coast or is it in a city? Is it in the mountains? I mean, all of those things are things you'll want to consider. But certainly cost is going to be a big factor for most students. And that's usually ultimately often the deciding factor is the cost. All right, so I see more people are in the room here. Let's see, Katarine, do you want to try again? Let's see if we can hear you. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. Let's see here. Kevin, I'm gonna ask you. Do you have any? What can we help you with?
Did you say Kevin?
Ma?
Did you say Kevin?
I can't hear.
I got accepted into Polk State College.
Okay.
And the thing is, does the Polk State College has scholarships with no essay?
Are you asking if they have scholarships in general?
Without essay.
Without an essay. I'm not really sure. That's something you'd have to ask the individual university that you're talking about. Every college has their own process for offering scholarships. So that's something you would need to ask their financial aid and scholarship office and see what's required for the scholarships you're interested in.
Okay. It's in Winter Haven.
Sorry?
The college I'm attending is in Winter Haven.
Okay. That's fine, but you'd still have to contact the college directly. That's
Yeah.
not something that we can do. You'd have to do that yourself.
And you have some scholarships in Scholarship O?
Yes, we do have lots of scholarships available on Scholarship Owl.
With
So
no essay?
yes, we do have no essay scholarships as well. So
Yeah.
that's definitely something that you can do. For anybody listening today, we do have some no essay scholarships. We also have we also have scholarships where it might not require an essay, but you might have to submit a video. But there are some scholarships where you don't have to submit anything. You don't have to do an essay. You don't have to do a video. So you just have to see what scholarships you're matched to.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It looks like Whistle, forgive me if I'm saying your name wrong. It looks like they want to try to talk again. They just posted in the chat. Are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, great. How can I help you?
Okay, thank you. It's Wissal.
Wissal.
Yeah, I have a question, please, about saving money for college. So I'm still 16. I have 1 year before graduation, and I'm willing to do like an English major in university, but I took because of my age and my country and other stuff. But what is your advice for me to raise money, regardless, student loan and all of that?
Okay, so you are an international student, is that right?
Yes, I live in Morocco.
Okay, so I'm going to give the same advice that I've given. So you need to apply for scholarships from the university you're applying to. You need to look at the resources that are in our Discord channel for international students. I think it's great if you want to be able to get a job. That's one definite way you can save money, is by applying for jobs and trying to work as much as you can. But again, your best source of scholarships, if you're an international student, is going to be to apply for scholarships offered by the university you plan to attend. I can't say for sure if it's going to cover everything. I know a lot of international students are looking for what they refer to as a full ride scholarship, but it's very, very rare for anyone to get a full ride scholarship, let alone an international student. And so I think sometimes there's some frustration because students are looking for that full ride, but it's often not available, especially if you're an international student. So you need to cobble together money from different resources. That might be scholarships from the university. It might be private scholarships through Scholarship Owl. It could be a loan that you have to get that's specific to international students. It could be money you've earned and saved for yourself, money your family has earned and saved. So it's just a process that you'll have to go through to look for different options to find money to pay for college.
Yeah. It may not be the answer that you're hoping for. We have to field this question. We field the question all the time, but this is exactly why a tool like Scholarship Owl is really beneficial. Is because and also our community, right? We're doing everything we can to try to make this challenging issue as easy as it can be. And at the end of the day, it really comes down to how many applications are you going to put out for scholarships? How much are you going to really try to search and dig, so to speak, for all those financial opportunities? And it just takes time and effort.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Let's see here. I know we've got. Katerina, I guess you're still here, but I think we finished answering your question, correct? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and send her out of the room. Okay. Rukaya, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. What's your question? If you're talking, we cannot hear you. Can you try again?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Now we hear you. How can I help you?
So, I wanted to ask if you're a student from Nigeria, like high school student, final, like final year student, if you can get like 100% scholarship.
Okay, so I just answered this question. So anybody who's joining, if you're going to ask me a question about this, please know that the answer is not going to change. You have to apply to scholarships through the colleges you're applying to, and it's very, very hard to get a full ride or 100% scholarship. So that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, so, and keep in mind that, we only have 4 minutes left of the webinar, and then of course you can go to Discord afterwards. But we have a lot of people trying to join right now to ask questions. So if you're going to ask a very similar question, we may decide to kind of move on to the next person, just because we want to try to get as many questions answered as possible.
Dom, what I'm wondering, maybe you can message each person that's in the waiting room and see what question they want to ask.
Sure.
So that we know if we have different questions. And meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and look in the chat and answer some questions there.
Sure. We have 4 people currently in the room right now. Only I think 2 people are in the actual waiting room, it looks like.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Ariel, please ask your question, and hopefully it's a different one.
Hi.
Hi. How can I help you?
Mine is, I'm epileptic. I have a seizure disorder, right? So I kind of have to take that into consideration when I'm applying to colleges, like how close, because I have to frequently go to neurologist visits and stuff.
Sure.
So I have limited down to 2 really options. But the cheaper option is in it's in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And but the option that's closer to home is more expensive. So it's in my hometown, but
oh, wow.
So how would I choose between cheaper versus
if you've got some medical concerns, that's that definitely changes things a little bit, right? Because your situation's unique. If you go to the school that's close to your home, are you planning on living at home and commuting, or are you planning on living away from home?
I would probably have to live away from home just because of my epilepsy, I can't drive. So it would I would be very dependent on transportation. So I would probably, just to make it easier, live on campus.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. I don't know what the difference in cost is between the two. And obviously you need to talk to your family and talk to your doctor. But if you find that the least expensive option or the less expensive option in Pennsylvania is going to be better for a lot of reasons for you, then what you'd want to do is make sure that you have medical care prearranged. So you'd want to have a doctor lined up. You'd want to, talk to the health center on the campus and so forth. You'd want to have some of those things already lined up before you get there, and make sure that the care that is available to you is what you're looking for. And so maybe your current doctor can help you get some of those things set up into place. But if all of that sounds too overwhelming and scary, and, then you might need to consider going to the school near home where you don't have to set up anything new, right? Because you can continue to get the same medical care. How does your family feel, and are they able to help you with the difference in cost?
So my mom wants me to go to one that's like an hour away from my place, because I don't really want to stay in my hometown, but I do have to take into consideration that I have a medical disorder. Sure. But she just wants me to be close enough where if there's an emergency, she can get to me. Mm-hmm. That's what my parents really want to do, is they just want to make sure that because I haven't had bad seizures in a while, but they just want to make sure if something does happen that they can get to me. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be that far away, honestly, if I went to the farther one. Okay. But it's still, it's about 3 hours away. So it's still
yeah.
But my dad, he just kind of says whatever college I want to go to, it's just within reason. He's
sure.
Yeah.
Well, if all of the choices are not terribly far away, then I would say just talk further with your family and think about the university that you want to go to the most, that makes the most sense for you. And if it happens to be the one that's further away, but that's less expensive, then, like I said, sort of plan in advance to get your healthcare arranged for in advance so that you are comfortable and your family's comfortable, and that you have a doctor and someone you can call. Either way, no matter what school you go to, you're going to need to make arrangements with the university so that they're aware of your medical disorder and they'll be prepared if something happens, right? So either way, you have to do some of that work anyway.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. All right. A few more people are in the chat here. I know we're at 7:01. Are we going to go over a few minutes?
I don't mind going over a few minutes for those who want to hang out. I know there's a bunch of questions in the chat. I want to make sure I get to some of them. So let's see. Let's try to get these last two people in the room really quick, and let's make them the last people in the room so we won't take more people in the room. All right.
Okay.
So Jazera, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. How can I help you?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes. How can I help you?
Okay, so I'm a junior in high school currently, but I'm like looking for colleges to apply to. But I do art.
Okay.
Kind of, but I've won like national and like state competitions and whatever. But I was wondering if I could use how could I use that to get like scholarships within colleges?
Sure.
Not college scholarships, but like if I want to apply to specific colleges, how would I use like art to get it if I'm not specifically doing a art major? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. So if you're not going to be an art major, but it's something that you're skilled at, it's going to be easier to get art scholarships from outside the university. But if you are going to be an art major, then typically most universities that have an art program do have special scholarships available for art students. But it is harder to get art scholarships if you're not going to be an art major at the university, just because they tend to reserve those scholarships for the major. One thing you could do, for example, is you could apply as a double major. And
yeah, that's what I was planning to do.
Yeah.
Or you could minor in art also.
Right. Yeah, but that would be a great way to have access to those scholarships that the university offers related to art. And also there are plenty of private scholarships for students that are good at art. So I would encourage you to apply for those as well.
And we've seen some on Scholarship Owl as well. So if you haven't started your free trial yet, if you have not started your free trial yet, you definitely should, because we definitely have plenty of art related scholarships on our platform.
Okay, and then also so my state college gives out pretty good scholarships. And they give a lot of like partial and full scholarships out to people who get like good SAT scores. So I was wondering, how would I find like other colleges that are similar to that?
Oh, you mean out-of-state colleges?
Yeah.
Okay. Most colleges do have some kind of program that they offer for students that have higher test scores. That could be scholarships. It could just be, if it's a very competitive school, it could be that if you get really good scores, that you might have a greater chance of admission, right? So it's going to be somewhere in between. A lot of colleges that do have scholarships based on test score will actually tell you how much they'll offer you right on their website. So if there's a college you're interested in, you can check that out. That would be my best bet, is to look for it that way. And of course, study for your exams to try to get the scores that you're seeking.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Rukaya, hope I'm pronouncing that right. I've seen you come in and out of the room, so we'll see if we can get you in here. I don't hear you, so while I'm waiting for you, I'm going to try Tavian. Or Tavian. I hope I'm pronouncing your names right. Sorry.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, how can I help you?
Yes, I'm a senior, and I already decided my college I plan to attend Avery University, and I already did everything. I paid my enrollment deposit, chose my dorm room, sent my FAFSA, and I also plan to play football at my college. But I wanted to know, is there any way how I can get scholarships by being undecided? Because when I applied, I was undecided.
Yeah. So first of all, if you are on the Scholarship Owl platform, you can apply to every single scholarship that's on your match list that's in the platform. A lot of people think they have to apply to scholarships only if they're based on a particular major, but there's scholarships for all sorts of reasons, and many of them apply, it will apply to you whether or not you are a specific major. So definitely go ahead and check your match list in Scholarship Owl, and you can apply for those. There are not really specific scholarships that are only for undecided majors. More likely, you're going to be able to apply to scholarships that you can apply for regardless of your major. That's probably a better way to phrase it. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to take our last person in the room here, if he or she can.
They posted in the chat. They said they had a question. So.
Okay, great. What's the question? Do you see it in the chat?
Not yet. Rakaya, are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there you are. What's your question?
So, yeah.
Go ahead, ask your question.
I applied for a lot of college, and this one, they kept on sending emails that I'm close to, like one step away from to get the scholarship, and then I checked another time, and they put a price there that I had to pay before I able to get to the link. So is it supposed to be like that?
I'm a little confused. So you're saying you applied for a particular scholarship and they kept sending you emails that you were close to getting it, but then they wanted you to pay to find out if you got the scholarship? Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, and
another step.
Was that a scholarship through Scholarship Owl or from some other source?
Through Scholarship Owl, because I'm always checking for matches.
Okay, are you?
And they're always showing me like 20 matches.
And I'm a little confused. Are you currently a member of Scholarship Owl? Like, are you paying for a membership?
Yes, I'm a member.
Okay. It's hard for me to understand exactly what's going on, but that doesn't seem right to me. So what I'm wondering is if you can send an email to our support team, because that doesn't sound right to me. So Dom is going to put the support email address in our chat. And so that way you can contact support and you can explain the situation and ask them to clarify what's going on, because that something doesn't seem right to me.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Cool. All right.
So let's go
try to
ahead.
get a couple done from the chat. There's tons. So before we pick a couple of these, I want to remind everybody, please join the Discord channel. Okay, because we simply can't get to all these with the lack of time we have left. But if you join Discord, you can ask as many questions as you want, and we will try to get to all of them. And we also have tons of students who have been active for the last 30 days or so, who have learned a lot by spending time in the community, and they probably have similar questions or even similar answers that we're going to give. So it's a great place to ask these. So please join the Discord channel. Once again, the chat, it has the link in the chat at the top as well as at the bottom.
All right, and we're going to try to rip through these as fast as we can, try to get some quick answers to as many of these as we can. I'm going to pick one, and then Dom, you can have the next one ready. Okay. Sure. Somebody's asking, my son is a senior in Brooklyn, New York. He has very high test scores and a 4.0 GPA, been applying to a lot of scholarships for merit, but he never hears back from anything. He keeps using your page and a couple of others. What can he do for a better chance to obtain scholarships? Okay. So first of all, we have tons of scholarships on our platform, and there are lots of other scholarship websites that many of you have probably gone on. There's FastWeb. There's other websites. So each scholarship has its own deadline that you're applying for. So in many cases, the decisions are made maybe within 30 to 60 days after people apply, after the deadline. So let's say the deadline is May 30th. They probably will not select a winner for another month or two after that. And that's pretty typical, and scholarships go year round. So some are going to be due in a week or two, some are going to be due in 6 months, some are going to be due in 9 months. So I would just say keep applying to as many as you can. It doesn't mean that your son or whoever you are, if you're somebody else listening, it doesn't mean you're not going to get a scholarship, but the more you apply to, the more your chances will increase. And be aware that often, just because you've applied now doesn't mean that that's when the deadline is. If the deadline is further out, it's going to take them longer to make a scholarship decision. So keep at it and, and do the best you can.
Cool.
Okay. Dom, do you have another one?
I do.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hide that message I broadcast earlier so I can read this better.
Okay.
Someone asked. It was actually, I think it might be gone now because I was trying to go to the bottom and the questions keep coming in and it keeps missing. Okay. The older questions keep going away. So I'll just pick another one. Someone said, I did a summer camp at one of my college options in 9th grade, and that would relate to the major I would choose. Do you think that this would give me an advantage in my chances of getting in?
Yes, absolutely. It's always a great idea to do one of those early college programs. It can make a difference, but be aware it doesn't have to be an early college program at a particular college that you're pursuing. I mean, that's great if you can do that, but even if you've done an early college program somewhere else, it still looks great on your application and it's worth pursuing. Great. All right, I'm going to do another quick one here while you look for the next one.
Actually, I thought of the other one too. So
okay.
I have it in my head. Okay. Cool. So someone had asked, I'm just going to rephrase it. Basically, if you could give one, best tip to write a personal statement to get into college, what would it be?
My best tip is always going to be authentic and be connected to what you're writing about. A lot of students sort of regurgitate the facts about themselves, but they don't really feel connected to their subject matter. And so that's really important. Show your passion, show who you are, and make sure you sound like you care about what you're writing about. Okay, next question. How can we effectively appeal for more financial aid if there was no real change in finances since we applied? Can we compare merit scholarships and other scholarships received from other schools? So first of all, obviously your best chance of getting a change in financial aid is going to be if there was some kind of dramatic change in your income or circumstances. If there was not, though, there are still plenty of people that I hear are going to happen at a public school. Probably not even a public out of state, but private schools, they often will give a little bit more if you ask for it, even if your circumstances haven't changed. You can simply say, we've had a really rough time with the pandemic, things are difficult, and it would really help us to get a little bit more money. If you compare, it says comparing merit scholarships or other scholarships received from other schools, you can. I don't know how much colleges will care if you got 25,000 from X and they're offering 22. Are they going to match that 25? It's not so much about what was offered to you. It's really about what your out-of-pocket cost will be. If it's going to cost you 10,000 at one school and cost you 15,000 at another, you can say, I'm trying to figure out how to afford your school, but there's a $5,000 difference between one school and another. And even though I really want to attend your school, it would make it a lot easier if you could give me a little bit more. So that's kind of the way you need to approach it. Not the dollar amount you're being offered, but the dollar amount balance that you have to pay. Okay.
Cool. Another one. Assuming that we have time to keep going. Yeah. Someone said, I'm going to rephrase the question. Basically, can they use Scholarship Owl to find scholarships that are based upon heritage and race?
Yes, you can. But that's not the only thing that's in our system. But yes, you definitely can.
Cool. I have another one here. This is a little bit more kind of general and thinking about the future, but someone asked, how do you search for jobs after college that best suits you? And so maybe we can kind of also bring that back into whatever they're studying as well.
Yeah, I mean, so the best thing to do is while you're in college, try to volunteer and do some things, some activities while you're in school that you can put into your resume that will then apply when you are ready to, apply for jobs. A lot of students don't realize just how important it is to try to find opportunities to volunteer or intern or find some kind of paid freelance, whatever it is. While you're in college. A lot of students focus on, well, I'll just get a job, that's downtown. I'm going to get a job at a store. I'm going to get a job at a restaurant. There's nothing wrong with that. Those are great jobs and help pay your way. But if you can get a job that's related to your major, it's going to make it far easier for you to have a job ready and waiting for you when you graduate from college. So that's always going to be great advice.
Cool. Quick one here. Can parents apply for scholarships on behalf of their students?
Okay, that is a great question. What I would say is, first of all, we always recommend that students apply for their own scholarships, but a lot of students are super busy. They don't have a lot of time. Parents then sometimes step in and help them out. That can be in the form of, gee, I found these scholarships for you, you should apply, to, you know, some parents even go ahead and actually start writing essays on behalf of their child. It's not something we recommend, but it's something I know parents are doing, because however they can reduce their out-of-pocket cost is important to them. What I would say is, with Scholarship Owl, you know, your student can have a membership, and then you can ask your child to have you look at what they're doing so that you can help them out. We also have something brand new we're launching called a parent dashboard. And so if you're interested in this, this is brand new. We're still in the testing phase, but for those of you watching today, if you are interested in the parent dashboard, Dom, do you have the link for that? In Slack, if you can find it.
Yeah, I'll find it and put it in there.
Okay.
In 1 second.
So what you'll see if you click this link, and this is for parents of a student who already have a Scholarship Owl account. So your child has to have an account before you can do this. But if your child has an account, you can sign up to be part of our test group to have access to a parent dashboard. It's gonna, when you click the link, and he just posted it there, when you click the link, it's gonna look weird. It's gonna be this little form, and you're not even gonna see our logo on the page or anything. That's because it's in beta. So like I said, if your child is already a member of Scholarship Owl, you can fill out that form, and that way that will get you started to have access to
Right.
a parent.
And if they're not, the process would be go to scholarshipowl.com, create an account, start your free trial. Right. And as long
as I've moved closer to the school, this is a great question. So I don't know if this person is living in the United States, if they're outside the United States, but I'm going to answer this as if you're inside of the United States. When you fill out the FAFSA, it asks you within the FAFSA, are you planning on living on campus? Are you going to live off campus? Are you going to live with family? And they ask you that question because they're determining what your cost of attendance is going to be and how much financial aid you need. So it's important that you answer that question correctly on the FAFSA. If that changes, if you answered one way on the FAFSA and now your living situation is going to change, then I would contact the school you plan to attend, explain what's changing, and see how that affects your financial aid offer.
Cool.
All right, Dom. Okay.
Yep. What are some things that scholarship sites like Scholarship Owl, or I guess they specifically mean the vendors that are distributing these scholarships? What are some of the things that they look for in essays to grant them a scholarship? So maybe just give us some examples.
Sure. Every scholarship that asks for an essay has their own requirements, right? So the essay is going to vary depending on the provider. What I would say is providers are looking, first of all, to make sure you appropriately answer the question. So, you know, sometimes students will write an essay and it just doesn't seem like it quite fits the question. Maybe they borrowed an essay they wrote for something else and just threw it in there. I actually recommend that students do that. So I want to clarify, if you have an essay you've written and if it's similar to the question that you're going to be answering now, I think it's great to repurpose an essay you've already written, but you need to change that essay to make sure it actually answers the new question for the new essay that you're going to be writing. So, you know, you want to make sure that it sounds like you've answered the question appropriately. It needs to be well written. It needs to be, you know, the punctuation and the grammar should be decent. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to make sure it's free from obvious errors. And again, like I said earlier, you want to be passionate and emotional and connected to your subject matter. So those are the main things I think that most scholarship providers are looking for. And you don't want to exceed the word count. Follow the rules. If they give you rules, follow them.
And as a reminder, if you use Scholarship Owl, any of the scholarships you start applying for through the tool, we have a bunch of really cool features set up to make that easier for you, including being able to view the prompt as you write it, because it can be very easy to forget a really important part of the prompt, and that can really make or break your application. So definitely check that out. I'm going to combine two questions I saw together. One was basically, they said, once you apply for a scholarship, will you ever receive feedback regardless of whether or not you actually got the scholarship? And then somebody also asked, it was about, they had said, remember by myself, they had said, oh, forgive me, I forgot. But if I think of it, I'll bring it up.
Okay. So when you apply for a scholarship, typically you're not going to get a response back that you did not get it. If you get it, of course, you'll get a response. Most scholarship providers will post it somewhere on their website. So, you know, what you want to do is, you know, keep track of the scholarships you've applied for if you are using the Scholarship Owl account, if you've signed up for Scholarship Owl, there's an area within there for submitted scholarships. So we track all of that for you. You don't have to keep track of all the scholarships you've applied for because it'll be in your submitted tab. And we actually have a way where you can track where the scholarship is, what the status is. It'll tell you if they've received your application, if they've reviewed your application, if they're in the process of selecting winners. And it'll tell you if the scholarship is still open or if it's now closed. If it's closed, that means that a winner was already selected and unfortunately you were not selected. But most scholarship providers do not actually send an email or communication out to all their applicants. So, and I know that's really frustrating, which is why our submitted scholarship area I think is really helpful because it allows you to monitor that information.
I still can't remember what the original question was. But I will say, another one that came in is a great question. They said, if you get a scholarship in a college or university, are you going to be allowed to also do an outside job to help financially as well?
Yes. Yeah, they're not going to stop you from making money. Now, what I will say is that any money you earn in the current school year, so let's say we're talking about the 2021-2022 school year. If you earn money during that school year, you'll be reporting that on a future FAFSA, right? So, but FAFSA looks at what they call the year prior, which I know sounds really confusing. So people this year that were applying for this fall, the income that was used was from 2019. So when you fill out the next year's FAFSA, it's going to be based on 2020. But there are tax deductions and credits that are typically available if for tuition or for student loan interest. That can vary depending on tax changes and things like that. So I don't want to say too much about it. I would say consult a tax professional or Google. Google has some pretty good information, but there's an American Opportunity Credit, Lifetime Learning Credit, there's student loan interest deduction. There's like 3 different possible ways to get deductions related to college cost. So you'll want to look them up and see which one you or your parents could qualify for.
Cool. I feel like this is a funny enough question where I wanted to answer it. Someone asked, what websites are good and reliable to use to apply for grants and scholarships? And my answer is Scholarship Owl. And one great example of how we've shown that we can be reliable is that we have a tool that actually can check the credibility of each scholarship. It'll actually measure it based upon a percentage. And so our team has done research and has built up relationships with a lot of these providers. And so we can give you a much better sense of whether or not you should be able to trust them or not. In general, we're going to do whatever we can to only have scholarships on our site that are trustworthy. But we'll also be very open. If there's only a 10% credibility rate, then we're going to put that on there. So that's a great way to make sure that you are applying through a reliable sources to use our tool.
Right. And then the other, of course, there's the federal website for financial aid, the Student Aid Commission. Those websites are always going to be reliable and credible. And there are other scholarship websites out there too that are pretty good. But, I would just say in terms of where I'm most confident, it would be the federal sites, any state financial aid site that's run by your state government. And personally, I can say that Scholarship Owl is trustworthy and credible.
One more here. Someone said, if I was accepted for the spring semester to a university and applied to a community college for the fall that has a bridge program to a different university, is that a conflict?
It's a great question. I would say I'm not the right person to answer it, though. Probably you'd want to check with the college you intend to go to in the spring. So if you want to go to one school in the spring, and if you're going to go to a community college with a bridge to a different university, check with the university you plan to attend and ask if that's okay. And then, you can make your decision based on that.
Cool. Obviously, there are other questions that have come up. I think that have actually disappeared now because there have been so many more that have continued coming in. I'm looking to see if there's any that I missed that are really pertinent. Let's see.
All right. While you're looking, I'm going to answer one here. Somebody's asking about work study. Work study is a great way to go. On your FAFSA, if you check the box that you're interested in work study, then you'll be applying for work study when you apply for the FAFSA. But depending on your family circumstances, you may or may not actually be offered work study. Only students that have a certain level of financial need will be offered work study. If you are offered work study in your financial aid offer, it is not a grant, it is not a scholarship, and it is not a loan. What it is it's an opportunity to earn money by getting a campus job that's designated as work study.
Cool.
And if you get a work study job, what's great about it is it will pay you just like any other job would pay you, but the money you earn at a work study job will not count against you in a future FAFSA. So that's always really good. Also, a lot of the jobs on campus are work study only jobs or work study preferred. So if you've been offered work study as part of your financial aid award, you're going to have a greater chance of getting a campus job than students that did not get work study.
Yeah, I can tell you right now from when I was a student, I think I might have qualified for work study one time, but in general, I didn't get it as often as some students, and it was much harder to get a job on campus, I found, because I didn't have that. So if you can get work study, definitely do it. And often, to be perfectly honest, they're usually the best jobs on campus are the ones that are work study, right? Like, as opposed to having to work at like a store as a cashier, you could maybe work as I guess should it be both?
Okay, so that's sort of an oddly worded question because you don't earn scholarships to pay off loans, right? What you do is you try to avoid taking out loans or to take out a smaller loan because, like I said, for a freshman, you can take out up to $5,500 in a student loan that's a federal student loan, but maybe you can get enough scholarships so you only have to take out $1,000 in loans or something like that. So
right.
You want to apply to scholarships to avoid loans. And then, yes, the money you make at a job is what you can use to pay down your loans or to pay your current living expenses, again, to avoid loans. You typically don't pay back loans until after you graduate. However, sometimes private loans will make you start making payments quickly rather than waiting till after you graduate. And also Parent Plus loans, you have to start paying those back 60 days after the loan money is dispersed. Parent Plus loans are taken out by parents, not by students. So that means if you're a parent and you're taking out a Parent Plus loan, you will be making payments on that while your child is in school.
Cool. I've got a few questions here that are kind of relate to international students, so I'm going to ask them in two kind of break three questions into two. So one, in general, I've seen a number of questions that have asked, are there scholarships for someone with African American descent, Latino descent, or from different parts of the world? The short answer is they exist, but you have to find them. And the best way to do that is to either, for international, probably call your college is the first thing you should do. But then secondly, do check Scholarship Owl. And then somebody else asked, it's a little bit different twist on the question. They said, when I'm filling out forms for various things, I'm assuming they're probably an international student, does the term Black or African American apply to me if I'm Nigerian with dark skin?
That's a great question. I think you have to answer that how you feel most comfortable and each form might be asking it a little bit differently, right? If there is no other option for you that best fits you, if African American or Black is what's there and there's not another one that better fits you, then I would say go with that. Because that could be that the person who created the form is using certain terminology that might not be best for you, but it might be the best that they came up with.
Yeah, I've definitely seen forms for various things, whether it's education or not, where they describe African Americans with that term, or they also might say Black, and so I figured do whatever you can to try to make your applications get what you want, right? So better safe than sorry. If that's the best option for you, it's probably the one you should select. Right. Somebody else asked, it might be the last one that we have time for since we're already 30 minutes over. But somebody asked if they want to apply for work study, but if they didn't do it through FAFSA, is there another way to do it?
There's not another way to do it, but the good news is you can update your FAFSA. All you have to do is log into your FAFSA account and you can adjust that and click that checkbox, and then you've applied for work study. If you have trouble doing that for some reason, you can also call FAFSA directly. I don't have the number off the top of my head, but you can find it on the FAFSA website. And surprisingly, people at FAFSA are actually pretty helpful, and they can walk you through that process if you're not sure how to do it. Okay. Anything else major, or should we call it?
I think I'm checking really quick. A few people have asked about the webinar. I just responded to somebody privately, but I might as well bring it up here. We are sending out a recording of the webinar if you came in late or if you missed it. We also are going to share the link in our Discord channel, so it's another reason to join the community. So via email or in our Discord, we're going to have the recording posted. You'll be able to rewatch the whole thing and look at all the slides and pause and rewind and do whatever you'd like with it. So that is going to become available to you. Other than that, I think
that same email, I just want to mention, you'll also get a link to download the post-application checklist that I mentioned. That's our thank you for everybody watching. And we also will have a link to Discord within that same email. So in that one email, there'll be 3 different things you can do.
Right.
So you want to do all 3. And then you're also going to get another email from a company called Trustpilot that will be asking you to review today's webinar. And if you want to, you can respond to that email as well.
And I just wanted to add one last thing. I've been seeing all these great messages from Kimberly, one of our most active members in the community. She's been super helpful today. Thank you, Kimberly. She mentioned that there's actually always a Jumpstart webinar every week as well, which is a great point. And I think we have another one coming tomorrow. And so if you like what you heard here and you're interested in trying the tool out, a great way to get into that is to join our Jumpstart webinar, which we also do post a link to in our Discord community. So it's a about an hour-long webinar where we break down a kind of very high-level look at what it takes to log into the platform, try out different features, and Jennifer really walks you through everything you need to know about the tool. That way you can jump right in and start applying to scholarships and hopefully start seeing some applications get approved.
Yeah. And that webinar is tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So the same time as today's webinar is when tomorrow's is going to be.
Cool.
All right.
All right. I think we're probably good. I'm sure there are questions I missed because, like I said, they're disappearing as more come in.
Yeah.
So if I missed your question, just join Discord and find the right channel. There's a lot of places you can post in, but try to find